The Middle Ages weren't powered by turkey legs and fantasy feasts. That image is a Hollywood hallucination. The real medieval plate was stranger, smarter, and in many ways tougher than what most people eat today. No neon candy, no factory sugar, no soda. What fueled farmers, monks, builders and warriors was a world of fermented grains, black breads, river fish, forest plants, raw dairy, slow-cooked stews and survival foods that modern supermarkets barely recognize. And once you see what they actually lived on, the medieval world stops looking primitive and starts looking brutally practical. Welcome back to Ancient Roots Uncovered. This is where food stops being entertainment and starts being power. Bread was not soft, white or weak. Medieval bread was not cake pretending to be food. It was dense, dark, heavy. It was built, not baked. Most daily bread was made from barley, rye, oats, peas and beans, ground right into the flour. This wasn't a side dish. This was the meal. Historical records show an adult labourer could eat over 1 kilogram of bread a day. That's more than 2 pounds. But you know, this bread was loaded with fibre, minerals and slow energy. Teeth marks found on medieval skulls show extreme wear, proving just how tough and coarse this bread really was. And here's what most people don't realise. Much of it was naturally fermented. Long rises, wild yeasts, sour flavours, which meant lower sugar impact, better digestion and longer shelf life. This wasn't fluffy bread. This was edible fuel. Stew was the engine of the medieval world. If bread was the body, stew was, well, the blood. Almost everything went into the pot. Vegetables, grains, bones, herbs, fish, sometimes meat, often not. The medieval kitchen revolved around cauldrons that simmered all day, and sometimes for days. New ingredients were added as old ones disappeared. This constant cooking method pulled minerals from bones, softened hard grains, and really turned scraps into strength. Cabbage, leeks, onions, turnips, peas, beans, carrots, and herbs dominated these stews, not garnish, foundations. Meat was flavour, not bulk. And for many households, meat only appeared a few times a week, some only a few times a month. Yet these stews were deeply nourishing, thick, salty, fat-rich, warm, perfect for cold climates, and, brutal labour. Medieval people didn't snack. They restored. Fish was the secret superfood. Medieval Europe ran on fish, not as a luxury, as a rule. Religious fasting days removed meat from the table for up to half the year. That didn't mean starvation. It meant rivers, lakes and seas became living pantries. Herring, eel, cod, salmon, trout and shellfish, well, they flooded medieval diets. Fish was eaten fresh, smoked, salted and dried. Dried cod could last for years. Barrels of herring powered entire cities. This made medieval diets far richer in omega fats and minerals than, well, most modern diets. Coastal communities consumed fish almost daily, you know. Inland towns built massive trade routes just to secure it. They ate the forest. Before grocery stores, the wild was the store. Berries, nuts, mushrooms, wild greens, roots, tree saps, even flowers. Medieval people foraged constantly. Forest foods filled nutritional gaps and added medicine to meals. Dairy was raw, fermented, and everywhere. Milk didn't arrive in cartons, it arrived warm. Fresh milk spoiled fast, so medieval people transformed it. Cheese, butter, curds, whey, yogurt-like drinks. Some cheeses were eaten young and soft, while others were aged hard enough to survive winters. Monasteries became dairy laboratories, and certain regions became famous for specific styles. Sugar was really quite rare. Honey was, well, power. Refined sugar barely existed, and when it did appear, it was actually considered medicine. The main sweetener folks relied on was honey, thick, raw, wild. Medieval honey wasn't just about flavour, it was antibacterial, energy-dense, and fermentable. Honey sweetened breads, drinks, sauces, and preserved fruits. And, it fueled mead, which was one of the most widespread medieval drinks. They drank more than water, Clean water just wasn't guaranteed back then. So medieval people brewed. Small beer was really common, very low in alcohol, nutrient-rich, and, well, a lot safer than stagnant water. Even children drank it. Monasteries, in fact, perfected it. Alongside beer, there were herbal drinks, broths, fermented honey beverages, and grain waters. The shock isn't what they ate, it's what they didn't. No refined flour, no industrial oils, no lab sugar, no synthetic additives, no ultra-processed anything. Meals were slow, ingredients were whole, cooking was long, flavours came from smoke, fermentation, herbs and fat. Hunger was real, so food had to work, and it did. Medieval people didn't eat to entertain themselves, they ate to survive winters, plagues, labour and war. Their food was honest, heavy, intelligent, built by necessity. And that's why studying it really matters, because beneath the myths and costumes is a food system that understood something modern culture is, well, still trying to relearn. That real nourishment doesn't shout, it strengthens. If this opened your eyes, this channel is for you. Ancient Roots Uncovered exists to strip history of fantasy and bring back the knowledge that once kept humans strong. Subscribe so you don't miss what they never taught you. Share this with someone who thinks medieval food was just meat on bones. And stay rooted.